Many startups get rejected by enterprises because they say we don't know whether you'll survive tomorrow or not.
That is one of our criteria that we look at, right? How many customers do they have? Do they have enough funding in the bank? And also what happens if they get acquired?
What's the process for allocating budget?
So I would say like ideally 60% in change the business and 40% in run and operate the business. If you're not investing in the new processes and new tools that can help the business grow forward, then the balance is not there. Number of SaaS apps will go down, the number of agents will go up. For example, now with Comet browser, right? I was able to save like 6+ hours on a weekend. I uploaded my telephone bill or an internet bill and say, okay, what are my savings out there? Can I reduce my cost? This is where the world is going. Just imagine in the future of work, everyone will have a smart assistant. Now we have to be ready. Okay, how do we manage and govern that, right? Because we don't want any assistant or agent to go rogue.
Hi, this is Siddharth Aluwalia, your host at Neon Show and managing partner at Neon Fund, a fund that invests at the earliest stages in the best of enterprise AI companies like Atomicwork, CloudSec, SpotDraft. Today I have with me a repeat guest on the show, Karthik Chakkarapani, a very dear friend and CIO of Zuora. Karthik, welcome for the second time on the Neon Show. Excited to have you back.
Thank you, Sid. Looking forward. Last time was in Bangalore, now it is in the Bay Area.
Yeah. So quite a difference in locations, but amazing to record this in the Bay Area, your city.
Awesome. Looking forward.
This time I want to focus specifically on the entire buying process a startup goes through, specifically a AI startup that goes through, and what role does a CIO play to introduce them, to manage the process, right? So maybe if you can describe, from a Zuora's perspective, right? From the first point of contact of a startup to an end-to-end contracting.
Got it. No, great question. I think even beyond AI companies that we are taking through this process, we have a foundation process for any SaaS company as well. Whether it's a new vendor that we take it through the process, or even an existing vendor that we have to renew at the time. So we do have an process that we have established like 2 years ago, where we look at what is the problem that we're trying to solve, what is the business need and outcome, and what capabilities do we need. And then when we talk to the vendor, we have a process for any typical SaaS company, right? But with AI, we have to add a couple more items on top of it, right? Because the wave of AI tech is going so fast. There are so many solutions out there in the market, which was not the case in the SaaS like 2 years ago or even 1 year ago. So we had some time and flexibility and all those things. Now, in order to leverage this AI to meet our needs, we need to think differently. So at Zuora, what we have instituted is an AI governance process, where it's a 3-step. The first step is experimentation. So we have a very simple and nimble process. Hey, what is the problem that we're trying to solve? What capabilities do we need to do? And let's explore what solutions are out there. Either it's an outbound or inbound. Either the vendor reaches out to us or we go scan the market, like what is out there. We have done both the cases. And our goal is, can we bring someone on board in less than 2 weeks for the experimentation? And so we have a set of criteria from its security, compliance, and obviously we have some other checkpoints which I can double click more. And then once we do the experimentation and we see some initial proof of value, and then we take to the second step, where we do more like a double click on the business value, ROI, architecture, integration, security to the next level, right? Like LLMs, what type of models. So we have like a couple of things that we go in depth on it. And third step is, okay, if all looks good, let's push it through the legal and procurement review and initiate the actual implementation itself. So that is a process we have established like actually 3 months ago. And because we were struggling, because the wave of tech was coming so fast and the existing SaaS process it will not help us, right? Because appetite from a business team, from my own team was very high, right? And I would say like in the past 3 months, we have almost put in like 50+ applications through this process, and 12 of them have already gone into production. So we took some time to make sure like what really matters and how we can leverage the best of AI in a much more faster way. And that is what we have been doing, and because we need to move fast as well.
So maybe first, if you can describe in detail as much as possible, how was the SaaS world,
Yeah.
when you onboarded any SaaS application?
Yeah. So in the SaaS world, when I joined Zuora a couple of years ago, one of the top item that we want to go after is rationalization of our SaaS portfolio, and also see whether are we having the right apps, and what is the cost we are spending, and are there opportunities to optimize the cost and reinvest in some modern and robust technologies, right? And we started that 2 years ago, and we have a portfolio of almost 200 plus apps that supports our enterprise, and we have a long tail of other apps as well. So when we looked at it, we want to make sure that we want to have a scalable and more of a robust architecture set of apps, and also see, like, we had like almost like 30 plus variables that we looked at every app. It was almost like a 2-month, 3-month exercise that my team did. We looked at everything. What is this app does? What are the capabilities? What is the value? What is adoption? What is the usage? What is the customer support? How many tickets are we getting? And product roadmap, is there innovation going on? And how is it integrating with other things? When we started this 2 years, we didn't look at it from an AI lens. We had some light version of it because AI was just kickstarting at the time. So when we looked at it, we found almost like 30 to 35% of the apps we can consolidate and rationalize it better. So we had an dollar target. My focus was not only on the dollar, but also can the architecture be more simple and modern and easy to use, right? So we decommissioned almost like 40 plus apps in the last 2 years. Wow. And we consolidated with existing apps, and we moved into new apps. So now we have a very healthy set of apps, and the machine is not running. The engine is running now. So even I'm not part of the day-to-day, week-to-week, which like how I was doing a year ago, because now the mindset has changed. The process is fully established. And now whenever a renewal goes into the place, we know exactly what needs to be looked at and what questions to ask, and then get there. So even we are only halfway through the year, we have already met 90% of our target for this year, because the process is well established. And this is what we shared with our existing vendors and new vendors as well, right? So that was the existing process that we do, and we apply that same process for when we bring in a new vendor, we take them through this process as well. Hey, I don't want to learn about the solution yet. I want to learn about your vision, your roadmap, your plan. What problems are you trying to solve? The same things that what we would typically ask, and put them through the POC process. The POC would take like 2 months or 3 months.
Free or paid?
I would never pay because we need some skin in the game from the vendor who's supporting us. I'm not a big proponent. If some vendor comes and tell, hey, you need to do a 4-week POC, then the first thing I will think is, okay, they don't trust the product.
Yeah.
Right? They don't trust on their value prop. If you really want to win a customer on thing, you need to be like you need to have double the confidence that I can win over this customer with an agreed upon POC criteria and all those things. And that's how we do it. So we take them through the same process, but it's an expanded view because we're putting in SaaS application through this process. Like that, as I said, we've brought in almost like 30 plus solutions, net new solutions into the ecosystem.
Okay. And let's describe, once the vendor reaches out to you or you reach out to the vendor, what's the step by step now? Let's break it down.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm focused more on outbound because I do get a lot of emails like LinkedIn and messages. I pay attention to some of those things when somebody else has commented on it in LinkedIn.
Okay.
Or somebody has reposted on it, right? So I follow a set of like 20, 30 people that it shows up on. Now that the LinkedIn feed is very powerful now, the more you
engage with
or engage with a person or a post, it keeps coming up a lot.
Sure.
Like now my LinkedIn feed, every day I see some things that, for example, like Vijay, right? Okay, Vijay has commented on something. Okay, that must be interesting.
Yeah.
Or if Arvind or some other people come, okay, that must be interesting. That's how I come to know about new vendors, and I go double click on it. Then if it is very interesting, I share it with my team. Hey, is this something interesting? I know it was a problem that we were trying to solve, or it may be an unknown problem that we did not know that is existing, right? So then I have the team reach out, and I may also reach out, hey, I want to learn more, right? So we do that way as well. So inbound is very less, I would say maybe 10 to 20% that we pay attention, but 80% is outbound because it makes it easy for us. Hey, we have a need that we're trying to solve. And vendors, if they get an inbound request from one of these customers, and take it seriously, right? So that means we've already done the research.
Yes. So you do the outbound. You ask a bunch of questions on your product vision, on the problems they solve, and because you already have a very clear need, that's why the outbound happened in the first place, right? What's the next step? Like the POC is the next step, or making them?
No, it depends. I take two routes. If I'm super interested, I'll have the first call because I don't want to inundate my team, right? Because sometimes my team tells me, Karthik, you're sending a lot of things my way. But if there is a need or a problem that my team has shared with me in the past, then I give it to the team. Hey, take a look at it, right? But sometimes I come across solutions that we may not even be thinking. Like Featurely is an example. I wouldn't even have thought about synthetic human and rapid prototyping and all those things. But so I took the first step to learning more about it, right? But if there is an existing need, then I pass it on to the team. So I kind of divide and conquer based upon people's capacity. As a matter of fact, we have like 12 or 14 solutions in experimentation stage that is going through, right? So then I put a pause. But I cannot put too many things on the grid unless there is something interesting. So when I reach out, I have my first call. I just get to know the product, get to know the team, and then if it sounds interesting, then I will ask for a demo, and then I'll pass it on to the team. Okay, meet with my team. I think this one is in. Even when I reach out to my team, I don't just blindly forward it. Hey, this is a type of capabilities, what it can do for us, and all those things. I do some internal selling to my own leadership team, my own managers, and also to my business partners. So I have to do some internal selling. I don't typically like to just pass it on, right? So it doesn't help, right? So, and then we take the next steps after that. If they find it interesting, then we take the next steps.
That's a POC.
It's an experimentation stage, right?
What is the difference between experimentation and POC?
POC is a subset of it. Experimentation is let's see whether this works or not, right? And then come with an agreed upon criteria. Okay, come with like 5 things. Can we do this, right? And then we do a POC as a working prototype or a working demo, right? Experimentation doesn't have to be, because the reason I'm splitting experimentation and demo is, experimentation is an overall problem, right? And we want to experiment whether this problem will be solved or whether the pains can be met, addressed. Then POC is a way to validate whether that experiment is doing or not. It's almost like a science experiment. You come with the thesis. Okay, this is what I want to test, and I may run a couple of actual things, right? So that's how I see it.
So for example, let's take Featurely's example since you mentioned about it. So what are the steps during the experimentation that the Featurely is going through?
Yeah, internally first we have to onboard it into our environment. Like, so we go through an NDA, terms and conditions, and we're trying to make it, we have our own process re-engineering on that front as well. Today, it may take like 3 to 4 weeks even to cross that experimentation, because there is a lot of things. When it put AI, there is legal and compliance and NDA. So we're trying to come with a standard set of things, because we have some vendors like coming from Y Combinator kind of things. They may not have all the right terms and conditions. It's maybe very basic. So what we are thinking, can we just hand our own templates to them and let it go through rather than going back and forth? So that we are actively working on it right now. But once the terms and conditions are met, then we come with a 4-week plan. I don't go beyond 4 weeks, right? Because there's no point in it. In that 4 weeks, we get to know, okay, how is the team working on? How is the relationship? How is the rapport between the teams? Are they listening in? Are they communicating the value clearly? Or are they helping us through the POC? It's not like, hey, I'll give you the environment, do whatever you want, right? No. So we want to make sure, during that process, I also ask my team to test not just the product viability, but how is the overall team itself, end to end, like all the way from the founders to the technology leaders, if there is a sales team or someone, whoever the teams is engaged with us, how is it working with them? If you go with them, will it be okay, or will you have a good rapport? Because if it is an established company, we don't have much of a say. We just test the value of the product. But if it is a startup, this is almost like I want to treat them as an extension of my team, like a thought partner. Have you get in that comfort, right? So that is what we all look for in especially like 0 to 3 years kind of startup
So
companies, right?
during this 4 weeks of courtship period, since you mentioned about it, you would do 7 to 8 meetings with that company?
It depends. Most likely, if I say like 2 meetings per week, I may have like only 2 meetings for the entire duration. I come in the start, maybe I'll do a midpoint, and then when it comes to, as I said, like stage 2, reviewing the business case, and then I come again. If I have to step into negotiation, I'll do it at that time as well. But my team, I would say like 6 to 8 times, right? Like 30-minute check-ins, and some of them get involved very deeply, right? So we have done it many times, and now we have a well-oiled machine, like how we take AI startups through the process now. So
And then at what time does procurement and legal get involved during that?
after it clears stage 3, once we align on, okay, the business value is there.
POC is done?
POC is done. POC is part of step 1, right? As I said, like step 2 is all about the overall business case value analysis, the ROI, architecture,
Sure.
integration, security, and we look for some basic things to the next level, right? Third one is all about approval from a management perspective, where myself and my co-sponsor sponsored it, and then we take it through the procurement and legal, and we close it off on step 3. That's it.
So, just for our audience, right? The first step, which is experimentation, which includes POC,
That's right.
usually take 4 weeks.
That's right. Yes.
Right? The second step, which is discussion of roadmap.
That's right.
And going deep into architecture.
That's right.
And validating whether it can be a long-term partnership or not.
Yeah.
Takes 4 weeks again.
No, I would say we typically try to do that in 2 weeks. Right?
So
yeah.
2 weeks, right? And the third step is where the value is established. Now, one of the people in the team become a sponsor, and there's a co-sponsor also.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
So, and then you take it to the legal and
That's
the
right.
procurement.
Yes. Yeah. When we close on step 3, that means everything is done.
Sure.
But not the implementation itself. We are closing. Okay, the contract is signed and everything. That third step can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 weeks, depending upon the maturity of the terms and conditions and all those things. And we're trying to simplify that process more better, because not all the startups have the right set of documents and all those things, right? So sometimes we have done it in less than 2 weeks. Sometimes it has taken 4 weeks. It depends upon the company itself, right? So ideally, I would say 2 to 3 months is average.
For entire 3
for entire thing, and then the implementation begins, right?
Okay.
And ideally, I want to see the value in the first 3 months, not like 6 months or 9 months. So if I have to see like end to end, when the first call happens, ideally I like to see some value happening, kickstarting in the 4th month or 5th month, right? So, or even sooner than that.
And how do you, like, who do you check for value? Is there like a parameter to measure value?
So when we, in the step 2 process, when we do the business case analysis, we are very, very clear on it. How are we measuring success of when we launch this product? And how are we measuring, how are we monitoring, and what is the feedback channel? And how are we going to communicate within our teams and back to the vendor? So after, ideally, after we start going live, the 3-month mark, okay, let's see how this is worked out. Sometimes we even do at 1 month mark, if depends upon the product, right? So recently we got in a product called Trupeer, right? So it's a video content generation. We didn't have to wait for 3 months to see the value. We were able to start monitoring the value in the first week or the second week itself, right? So now over the quarter, I can say like how many videos did we create, what was the productivity saving, so we can actually measure it, right? So.
And are you measuring how many people viewed?
Yes, everything. So it depends on the product. Ideally, for every use case, we'll have more like qualitative and quantifiable metrics, because our 2 key things is driving growth and driving efficiency. And then we have some sub metrics that will relate to each of those projects and applications.
So driving growth is increase of revenue.
That's right.
And driving efficiencies, reduction of costs,
EBITDA, and all those things, and workplace experience and everything. So.
And what weightage would you place? Let's say, so startups also give only 2 value, right? Either drive growth or drive efficiency.
Yeah.
What weightage would you put?
It depends upon the use case again. So, for example, companies follow rule of 40, rule of 50. Like I was reading this news called Palantir, if you have heard about it. They follow like rule of 80, right? So
What is that? Or what's
rule of 80 is a combination of growth and efficiency. So depending upon the company, like, you know what, if I have to meet a rule of 40, I need to get maybe 10%. Out of that rule of 40, 10 is for growth and 30 is for productivity and EBITDA. So, and some companies will have high on growth, low on efficiency. Like Palantir is like almost rule of 80, where they're getting like 35% to 40% growth and they're able to be more efficient, right?
I didn't understand it. Maybe for our audience.
Yeah, so that is an general principle, like
Sure.
rule of 30, rule of 40, it goes all, nobody has rule of 100, right? So rule of 40, when we'll have a target for rule of 40 is, in that the CFO decides, right? Like in this rule of 40, I want 10 to come from growth and 30 to come from efficiency. So there is an equalable dollar value behind the scenes, right? If it is rule of 30, you know what, I need 6 from growth and the remaining from efficiency. So we'll all have a dollar number to go after. So as we are bringing these new solutions in place, obviously I can only be an enabler of the growth. I cannot be a direct one. I can be an indirect contributor because there are other factors that is contributing to the growth. Likewise, in efficiency, I may have more direct variables on efficiency and less on indirect variables because I'm giving new AI tools. If they're taking, let's say, I'll go back to the Trupeer example. It takes 4.5 hours to take one video end to end for one language. And with Trupeer, I can do one video in 4 minutes across 10 languages.
Okay.
So if I create 100 videos, it comes with a total time saved. And we have an approximation of dollar per hour and we calculate the value. So we're not stopping over there. Okay, now that let's say we save like 1,000 hours for this team this quarter. Okay, what did we do about it? Right? It's not that, hey, okay, great, productivity is great. But where did we reinvest the time savings to something else that is contributing to more productivity, or they're able to spend time with customers that is helping us to grow more? So that is the equation we're currently working on, and to make sure that there is a downstream impact and value and how we are using that back on in the organization.
So any company can have any rule, basically.
Yes,
Rule of 30, 40.
Exactly, The like fast-paced established companies they're almost operating a rule of 80, rule of 90. So you want to check it out. You just do a simple GPT prompt, like show me the companies what they're doing from rule of 30 to rule of 90. You'll see some companies.
And today in your organization on tools, right, what will be the top 5 tools by spend, like largest spend?
I would say, without naming the companies, I would say the biggest spend is on go-to-marketing.
Which is sales enablement.
And sales and marketing are the biggest spend. I would say it almost like 30-35% in that. I don't have the numbers top of my head. The second spend is on infra and security.
Cloud?
No, infra and security, like all things on network security solutions and the things like identity management, DLP, and all those things, right? Like zero trust. I would say that will be the second largest spend. The third spend, the largest spend, is more on workplace experience, things like collaboration tools and all.
Or ITSM or employee service
management, anything that is helping the employees to make their work life better, right?
So between us, we know 3 companies, right? Trupeer, Atomicwork, Featurely. Where would you place all the 3 of them?
I would say Atomicwork is more on the third category, and Trupeer is also on the third category, and Featurely most likely in the go-to marketing place. The reason is it will help to develop, design and develop products quickly. When we do that, it can also drive growth, right? And it can also drive productivity, which falls into 3. So it's between 1 and 3, right? So because it helps both the sides. It helps on the team productivity, which is a good experience. It also helps you to sell and market better and get feedback quickly, right? So
for you, that when you are doing anything, the time to market, if any tool helps you reduce it, you can drive your revenue faster.
Even I'll go beyond. I'll go time to value. All right. I don't want to just take a tool and implement. How soon can I get that value? Right. So how soon can I realize the value is something that I measure very closely, right? So because, and also one thing that I didn't add is, In the SaaS, typical SaaS landscape, we usually sign contracts for 2 years, 3 years, and all those things. Sometimes we even sign for 5 years. But we made a rule within Zuora, any new AI startups like 0 to 3 years, 1 year. Because the tech is changing so fast, and we want to see the value. So we signed with a vendor last year, and we're not planning to renew because there is a better tech out there. So why pay like $100 when there is a new product which has more capabilities, which is half the cost? So this one is putting a lot of pressure on the AI companies, the startup companies. Then they have to keep up because it's very crowded. It's becoming very crowded, especially in the go-to-marketing space and cybersecurity. It's super crowded. And so the vendors have a tough job to outpace the competition. So, and as customers, we want to look at what is the solution that brings more value to us, right?
So we discussed, the three major steps, right, till a final, confirmation is assured by the legal and the procurement. But many startups complain that the legal and the procurement teams are not able to understand their pain points, and that's the hardest step.
Yeah.
Why is that? And can you describe more from their perspective?
I think risk, right? What are the risks? This is a new territory for all of them, right? Even when we take a typical SaaS application, it takes anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks for legal compliance, and we were okay with that because we don't roll out a new SaaS application every month. Maybe every quarter we may roll out like 2 or 3 net new. But AI, it feels like we need to roll out like 8 to 10 per quarter, and that puts a lot of pressure. And I have a very good rapport with our own legal team and procurement team, and we all acknowledge that, hey, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be reviewed. So we're actually having an active kind of a thread on how to make this process better, and we explored some AI solutions on it. Is there any terms and conditions? When we get a new document, can we redline it quickly and give the terms and conditions? That is one idea. The second idea is more around, can we just give our own templates? Right? Okay, if there is a new startup, they don't have we had recently a vendor who's going through the experimentation stage. They didn't have any. Even when they crossed step 2, their terms and conditions didn't meet all our needs. So then we realized, rather than going back and forth for 2-4 weeks, and at the end of the cycle, they accepted 95% of our needs anyway. Right? So I said, why are we doing this convoluted way? Why don't we just give them our document like NDA or terms and conditions, or what is the SOC kind of things they have to do? Because a legal document almost like 30 parameters, right? Just give it to them. Let them review it and let them work with it.
Are these public docs?
No, these are not public docs because this may be specific for my company, right? No, you should host my legal leader in your Neon. I'm telling you seriously, right?
Sure,
and
would love to.
we are very fortunate to have him as part of our legal team. His name is Dave, and he's a techno-legal. He understands the legal. He understands the technology very, very well as well. So with his support, we're able to move a little bit faster. And he knows it very clearly. And we made a decision, okay, next time when we bring in a startup, just give the documents to them. Let them review it, and at least it'll make it faster, right?
Which is very forward-looking.
Yes. You should definitely. I'll connect you to Dave, and he has great ideas, and he has shared some very good feedback to us. And he has also given advice to the startups itself. Right? So he recently took a couple of companies through it, and we were chatting, and it's like, Karthik, they don't even have those basic things.
Yeah.
Right? So, like they don't have this, they don't have that, and I said, hey, these templates are looking more like Y Combinator templates, right? So why don't we help them?
Yeah, like Y Combinator did a great service to the world by putting out
very basic, right? So
safe notes. Templates. Yeah, so everybody can follow the same structure.
Yeah, if this is a key struggle that the startup founders are facing, then more than me, you'll get better advice from the legal team.
Yeah, I think if please
I'll connect you
connect with Dave, and would love to share any templates that you can share. Remove the proprietary stuff. 70%. I think it will be great service.
No, we see it as a pain point. I know the vendors see this as a pain point. It's just especially the early startup companies, right? Because they don't have the bandwidth or the capacity to do this, right?
So today, you would have 200 apps, I assume, today?
Yeah.
What is the portfolio among how many companies are early stage versus late stage, like Cursor, Windsurf, or?
I would say when I started, the early startups were very less because it was more like medium to established, right? Now I would say I would say almost like 1/5 of our portfolio, or like 0 to 5 years kind of in the startup ecosystem. So
1/5 of the portfolio.
1/5 of the
Like
portfolio.
roughly,
That's an approximate number, like 30 to 40 companies. Yeah.
and they are early stage, I assume.
I don't have at that level of detail, but I know that I'm doing it from the number of years they've been in the business, right? So
0 to 5 years.
we have some companies like Trupeer is less than a year old, like Atomicwork is less than 3 years old, right? So we have a good range between this 0 to 5 years.
Yeah,
right?
featurely is like year.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
So many startups also don't get contracts or get rejected by enterprises because they say, "Hey, we don't know whether you survive tomorrow or not."
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Actually, that is one of our criteria that we look at, right? Actually, our procurement team, I talked about legal team,
Yeah.
but
Let's talk about
procurement team,
procurement.
yeah, procurement team, when we go to step 3, they look at all these variables, right? So when we brought in Atomicwork a year ago, obviously we were looking who are the VC backers, how many customers do they have, do they have enough funding in the bank that can sustain them for the next 2 years, and also what happens if they get acquired, are we in limbo or will they support us? So we ask all these things as part of the procurement process, and we have some tools that we run against, and we'll come with a risk profile. If the risk profile is in an acceptable range, then we go for it. Let's say again, this is just my personal perspective. If I come across a startup which is not backed by VCs, typically for me it's a red flag. Typically it's a red flag for me. I do not know, I don't have a quantifiable answer for that, because I believe that if a startup, let's say the startup company is there for 2-3 years, and they're primarily through other types of funding like angel investment and all those other things, and they may be, I feel like they may be a risk averse. Right? They're not taking money from others, and okay, then I ask them questions. If it is a valid answer, then I still entertain. But if not, the reason is, if it is backed by like 2 or 3 VCs, then you have the support of the VC ecosystem, right? And there will be an access to capital. And the VCs will also be a governing body for the leadership team and help them to keep moving. If it is only like non-VC, okay, who's governing you? Like who's pushing the buttons on you, right? So I feel that is, I'm learning this as well in the past year. So I literally stay away from companies unless it is super good, right? I always prefer companies who are backed by VCs, whether it is established VCs or well-known VCs in the circle, right? So
And how do you answer this question whether this company will exist tomorrow or not?
it's just like taking the trust, right? Like let's say if the company has only a few customers, and also we also do a risk profile. What happens if this company doesn't do well in a year from now? Does it going to impact my business a lot, right? So I'm very cautious about that as well. Which part of the process that this product is going to help me? Is it a nice to have or must have? Obviously, whenever we pick security solutions, the core security, usually I stay away from startups. Like the core zero trust foundation and identity management and like the data loss prevention and all those things, I stick with the core established companies. But anything a layer on top of it that is going to help us with better productivity and experience, I'm okay with the startup companies, because it's enhancing what you have. Even if they get acquired or if they don't do well 1 year from now, it's not going to break what we're doing. Same thing with the go-to marketing as well. You need the core CRM platform, the core marketing platform. And let's say if you want to have a new way of generating pipeline or driving more campaigns, I'm okay to experiment it with the startup company. So you need to differentiate which one is your core processes and which one is things that you can put on top of it, that you can still run your core processes without impacting the business. So we need to take a cautious approach where to invest, established versus startups.
And what is the process for allocating budget? Let's say a greenfield budget versus replacement budget. How much?
I don't have anything like that. It's purely on value, because at the end of the day, IT is an enabler of business goals and outcomes. So at the start of the fiscal year, when we do the financial planning, we all agree upon what are the company objectives. We follow the OKR framework, and we come across as a leadership team, we align on the priorities, and then based upon the budget, we call out, hey, this is a number that we need to manage and invest to run the house and also continue to upgrade the house as well. And so we come through that, and then it's up to the leaders, right? Like in my case, I make sure we have a healthy balance of splitting between run the business, operate the business, and change the business, right? So my goal is to invest more in the change the business and reduce the cost for run the business and operate the business. That is how we can grow and innovate on it. If you're continuing to spend more on run and operate the business, then something is not. You're investing on the core, continuing to invest more on the foundation. Maybe there are many problems. If you're not investing in the new processes and new tools that can help the business grow forward, then the balance is not there. So I would say, like, ideally 60% in change the business and 40% in run and operate the business.
And on things like cloud, do you take the decision or the CTO takes the decision?
No, in my case, we have a CTO on the product side, but on enterprise, it's all under my role. And we are a cloud first company. I would say like 98% of our things are on cloud. We do have a cloud operations team for enterprise, and we have some common like data center relevant things or security that is in house. Other than that, we are almost.
So you would take the decision as CIO.
Yes.
That today, do you want to be on AWS, Azure, or GCP?
Yeah,
Assume
yeah.
these are the usual.
That's right.
suspects.
Yes. Yeah. We are not a big customer of AWS from enterprise, but our product teams, right? So they have their own product engineering, technology leadership, and cloud operations. So we have a division of labor between what is within the product engineering. Anything that is non-product engineering comes under my remit.
And on the enterprise side, you usually would then deploy on either Azure or GCP, I would say.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
And how do you choose between which cloud to deploy for which customer?
I think since our world is more on SaaS apps portfolio, we don't heavily have a big focus on it. It's only for our corporate data and engineering. We rely on AWS services. Other than that, I would say, like, other than corporate data and engineering, rest all is SaaS based, right? So when it is SaaS based, we just ask those questions. Okay, where are you hosting? Is it GCP or Azure? Or
you host it on the customer's cloud.
That is right. Yeah.
Got it.
No, for our customer, when we sell our products, it's all hosted in our environment.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Got it.
And that is managed by the product engineering team. So
and they take the decision on whether AWS, Azure.
That's right. That's right. It doesn't come under my remit. So.
Got it. So usually when you talk to your peers in the industry, what are your learnings? Where is the industry behind or industry ahead?
I think one thing is don't be risk averse, right? It's fail fast and learn fast. Have a proper, if you're talking more about how to leverage the best of AI, have a proper governance and enable and faster iterative experimentation culture, not only with your team, but also bring along the business teams, right? So that is I would combine all these things into one category. The second category is just don't do alone, right? Because since you're in the tech space, you get to know all these things, but you can't expect your business teams to keep in pace with everything that is happening, right? So you need to bring them along as well on your vision journey and be part of. Bring them along is when there is a problem, when we bring a solution, when we talk to the vendor. In the first meeting, we have the business teams in front of us. It's not like IT goes first and business comes. So we have a cross-functional team that represents an AI, at least in the AI focus. And we keep them updated, we keep them informed, right? And when we even have the first session with the vendor, I'll have my team and the cross-functional business team all in one. So that we all get educated right from the first step. And it's not that we need to bring them only in the last. So they are part of the experimentation, they are part of the business value. And when we build the solution and enable it, it shouldn't come across, okay, this is an IT-driven solution. It is more of an IT and business combined solution that will help with faster enablement and value realization. So.
Understood. And right now, like, you would go to many CIO conferences, right? Do CIO also compare notes? Which other tools other CIOs are using?
It depends. Only in social conversations or something.
Not in business conversations.
No, not in business. And when we meet, we just have a casual chat. Hey, what are you guys doing? This, I'm hitting a pain point and problem, right? So, and when I go to some CIO events and forums or dinners, we pick on like 2 or 3 topics, or sometimes it's a casual conversation and we exchange notes in the sense that, hey, I came across this company, you may want to take a look, right? So it's not like a formal thing. It's more.
But how often is referral important? That's why I'm asking.
Referral is super important. If one of my CIO friends refer a product to me, I'll pay attention to it.
But usually that's not part of the discussion, right? As you said.
Yeah, it depends. It depends who it is. For example, we recently had a combined leadership meeting with Asana. Saket and his leadership team came to Zuora's office a month ago. We had a good couple of hours working session. We shared our goals and priorities and some tools, what we have experimented and brought it to life. Same thing Saket and his team also shared. And we got some very good information, some exchange of notes and tools, and we went and checked on those tools as well, right? So,
Got it. And for you, the reference, as you said, you would at least talk to the reference,
yes,
right?
yes.
So for listeners, like the reference is very important.
Exactly, yes.
Uh,
And also customer references as well.
Yeah.
Who did they implement with? Can I talk to them as well?
Okay.
Once you go to the later part of the stages, right? So
Got it. So
they, I would recommend the vendors and founders to have some very good, solid customer stories, like problem, pain point, what value did they deliver. That is what I'll be looking for, and how is it been working with the vendor, right? So
sure. So because we've talked about 3 startups, and so I want to discuss all the 3 on the same evaluation metric, so that listeners can at least through these examples. So maybe start with Featurely, and then to Atomicwork, and then Trupeer on these value metrics.
So Featurely, you are still in the experimentation.
Sure.
Once we clear the legal thing, I think the metrics that will be focused on is, again, it goes back to the growth and efficiency, and there is a set of metrics that we look at,
Sure.
right? Like a value, time to value realization, cost, and then the ROI, because our common denominator is ROI. At the end of the day, it's dollar, whether it's productivity savings or growth. How is it coming together, right? So that is if I have to keep it simple, we look.
What's the pain point they are solving?
The Featurely is more about how do we accelerate on research, user research and discovery and empathy and all those things. And now it can take anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks. We have to talk to people, gather notes, and analyze it. And based upon our capacity, let's say we can only talk to like 8 or 10 people. With Featurely, we can simulate like 100 digital humans, or they call it as synthetic humans, and that will automatically provide feedback. Okay, what is working, what is not working, and provide recommendations. And again, we are still in the early stage, so we are also learning. This is a new space for me as well. So
and why is it important for you? Because people have been building products for the way they have.
It is time to value, like, because we also sell products to customers. Okay, we want to sell the products, or even when I say products, either it's an external facing customer product or internal apps as well, because we do provide solutions and all those other things to internal customers, right? So how do we drive value quickly for them when we identify a pain point or a business need? So instead of spending a couple of months doing that, now I can reduce the time. And once we know what exactly we need, that is what it takes time. Like, what is the experience we need to do, what capabilities we need to do. So it cuts down the time by like 80%. That's my initial hypothesis, because we have not tested it fully yet. And then that will help us to focus on, get to the design stage quicker, get to the implementation stage quicker, and get it into the hands of users. When it goes to the hands of users, they may find it, okay, this is for me. Otherwise, it depends on how much work you're doing on the research side to get to the users. Right now, my understanding is, if this works in our POC, then end users will see what they want to see, right? And this can not only for application, this can also be your website content, your website layout. It can also be your email campaign, or you sending the right message for click-through rates. So there are multiple use cases. Only in the coming weeks we'll know like how much of this is adding and actually creating true value for us, right?
But I assume for Zuora, you might not be launching new products, because the company has been in existence, and the new product development is done.
No, it is there, right? So we are also launching new products and solutions. Okay. We need to innovate as well, right? So we are going after this total monetization, where we want to help our customers in the age of AI to sell their products in a much more efficient way and have the billing and revenue in a much more efficient way. And we need to add new capabilities. Well, we have new modules, sub-modules, and everything else, and we also add new verticals. all that we'll have product designs and all those things. That's why even the product team is looking into this product into futurely, right?
And let's talk about Atomicwork
Mhm.
then. The same framework.
Yeah, same framework. It was a replacement of an existing solution. So the goal is, how do we get to digital workplace experience? How can I help my employees across the company to find information quickly, get help, and automate many of the requests that employees have, whether it is an incident or a request. Now, as a matter of fact, we just saw the latest data, almost like 55% of our incidents and requests are being solved by the AI agent that Atomicwork provides. It has also helped the productivity of our support agents as well, right? So we look very closely in that. Not only this one is not only for IT, we have enabled it for multiple shared services functions, right? So it is going in a very good direction. And obviously, Atomicwork, as we reviewed it a year ago, hey, how fast are they going to innovate? How are they catching up? And we're seeing new capabilities launching almost every 2 weeks and every month, and that is keeping up. Okay, we are on pace. We are keeping in pace with what is happening in the service management world, right?
But don't you say that, hey, you have built enough product now, you don't want new features?
No, we have also told, because at the end of the day, it's how much can we consume. So we pace it out. My team will get into the sandbox and test it out, and we pace it out as well, because we had to be very cognizant about how many implicit features we send it behind the scenes, which people may not pay attention. It's part of the flow of work. But if you're adding in more and more new modules or new processes, you need to space it out. Otherwise, because we want to check it out, right? So it all depends on my team's capacity as well. How much change can we push and consume?
What about Trupeer?
Trupeer is, we are only in month 1, right? And so far it has been promising, right? We have seen productivity impact, and some of my business teams are very excited to share the feedback, because they've been creating videos most of their careers,
Or
right?
customers?
Our videos are even for customer facing videos, training videos, but the teams who have been producing those videos, it takes a lot of time in the existing world. They've been doing it for many years, right? So I've connected them to the product teams. Okay, you don't have to come through IT. You directly meet with the vendor, and we'll establish that platform for you guys and share the feedback. Because the more the feedback we share, it in return, they are very fast. They release a feature the next week, and then we get to use it. And at the end of the day, the more feedback we share, and if the vendors are receptive to the feedback, it helps us in turn, right? So that will also encourage people to share more feedback.
Understood. So we discussed these 3 examples, but are you also using tools like paid version of ChatGPT, Anthropic,
Yes,
Cohere?
yes. We already have Claude that comes as part of our AWS service. We recently signed with OpenAI Enterprise as well, because we wanted to. We are looking at AI in 3 different lenses. The traditional data science, right? People will still build proprietary models to support our internal needs and product needs. That is done by our data science team. The second one is AI. Have a core AI LLM platform where we can build our own agents and solutions on top of it. That is where the OpenAI, the Claude, and all fits in very clearly. And so that's why we went with that. And the third one is more around like off-the-shelf AI solutions, where we quickly enable it and get going, right? So we want to do all the 3. It's not like one is going away, right? We'll need all the 3. So that's why we went with, and we debated a lot, right? So obviously we want to have our own control on the solutions that we create, right?
And how much data do you share with them?
With who?
OpenAI, Claude.
No, it's all secure environment, right? So it's part of our secure layer, and they have a 0-day retention and all those other things, right?
Okay, so they delete the data same day?
I think they have some good criteria, and as part of our legal terms and conditions, right? Even tomorrow, if we don't renew, the goal is they'll not return our data, right?
And they'll not train their.
No, because this is all within our environment, right?
So you have asked them to put.
It's a private kind of a private wall, right? And I believe it's more like a 0-day retention. They don't train on our data, right? So it's only the context too.
Understood. And where do you think is the future of AI tools going? Like there's a lot of discussion on autonomous agents.
Yeah, it's already there. It took a rapid pace a year ago, and I see that autonomous agents, who doesn't want a smart assistant or a smart.
But who will take accountability for it?
I think now we are all looking at individual, okay, can I have an agent for this? Can I have an agent for this? And I'm seeing a world where we'll be using less of UI and we'll be using more of agents.
Please give examples.
For example, now with Comet browser, right? So I was experimenting this
At work or personally?
personally, right? So I was experimenting because we don't have Perplexity at work. So it was very fascinating what that browser does. It's an AI browser. Obviously, ChatGPT already had an operator kind of a mode where it can do some things. Here, I was able to save like 6+ hours on a weekend. Like I did like 10 things. Like I uploaded my telephone bill or an internet bill and saying, okay, what are my savings out there? Can I reduce my cost? And I put my daughter's school summer schedule in that. Okay, go create events and reminders for me in my Google Calendar. And there was one more use case that I had a solar bill that came in. Okay, how is it going? Like, do I have any follow-ups on that, right? So I uploaded all these things and I also did a reservation. Okay, I'm looking for this. Can you go make it? You go see what works, when it is open and all those things, other things, right? So it's almost like all of these things are autonomous, and it made my personal productivity better, right? And I thought, okay, I think this is where the world is going, right? So it's almost like the Comet browser is my personal smart assistant, which we don't have in personal lives, right? Okay, if I get an email, I'll just take a reply to this email, or you can do a lot of amazing things there. I even had a use case, go look at my email and unsubscribe from all the spams, and it did it.
Wow.
Did it in a couple of minutes, right? So in the past, I used to go one by one and hit unsubscribe and everything else. It automatically did, and it also summarized. Okay, give me a summarization of the emails that I got into. It's almost like what you would expect an admin assistant, right? Now, just imagine in the future of work, everyone will have a smart assistant. Everyone will have an assistant that will go, it's almost like an aggregator, like a concierge assistant, where you just ask this, you go to one place, and that assistant will determine which agents to go execute the actions, right? I think that is where we are heading towards, and now we have to be ready. Okay, how do we manage and govern that, right? Because we don't want any assistant or agent to go rogue. So there may be a world where you'll just have a senior engineer, let's say software engineer. That software engineer will have 5 agent engineers. Because software engineer, let's say the senior level or mid-level, they get a task. Okay, you need to do this project. Now that person can divvy up with this 5 agents. Okay, you go do this and all those things. I think it's slowly getting there. But if you think about it, when we scale this more and more, you can manage 20 agents, 50 agents to some extent. Let's imagine that'll be a world. That'll be like 1,000 agents floating around the company. So how do you manage it? Okay, how do you give performance management? How do you give feedback to the agents? It's like how you give to your employees. Okay, is it something part of workforce management, right? If I'm managing these agents who's helping me, like how you do in a real world, like a team of manager with a team of 5 people or 10 people, you give feedback, you give performance. So, okay, how do you do in this world? Do you blindly going to take everything what the agent does? So how do you rate it? How do you drive the sentiment? So I don't think we have figured that out. I think we are focused more on
evolving as we are using.
We are enabling agents to solve a particular pain point and make it better. But if you look at the life cycle of an employee, right? So, okay, they're helping to meet the needs. They're working on a problem. They're working on a project. But they also have performance management, evaluation, feedback. Okay, the world of agents, what do you do? I don't have an answer for it.
And that's why, we as a fund, we want to be more useful to any founders, not just our portfolio. That's an attempt towards that, right?
Yeah, if you come across any new startups that is, okay, how do you govern the agents and performance management evaluation? If not soon, we'll definitely hit that brick wall soon.
Yeah, like once the number of agents crosses a threshold where you're not able to manage.
Okay, how do you do it? I need one more
agent to manage all the agents.
Or at least you have some human in the loop. We'll soon hit the brick wall. Okay, what do we do, right? So,
and I definitely think a human will not be able to manage agents.
Not able.
Because they'll scale like very quickly.
Because the number of SaaS apps will go down. The number of agents will go up. When I said we are going more and more into the non-UI, I talked about the Comet, right? I didn't even have to log into any app. I didn't have to log into my Gmail.
You gave permissions?
I gave permissions. I didn't have to log into my other apps, right? You can connect it, right? As Perplexity enables more and more connectors, just imagine I only go to the GPT kind of interface or the NLS interface, do this, do this, do this. Unless I need more details, I'll go check in somewhere else, right? So it's imagine in the corporate world, as more and more we do this NLS based conversational agents, you may use less and less of your SaaS apps. So okay, is UI really will UI even make sense in the future? Unless you want to have click-through details, okay, now show me it in the app, right? So the whole UI UX of apps and interaction of humans in the apps, that is going through a major disruption now. Like, because it will happen. It will happen soon.
And it's just a very interesting point, because I can almost imagine a new Mission Impossible getting made by Tom Cruise, where hackers are able to hack the agents. And they are able to get all calendar information of any hotshot CEO and plant a new calendar invite where they want him to be.
That's why we are, as I said, like one of the first things that we did a year ago. We know that we're going to be going through this AI journey much more faster. So last year we invested a lot in having the right security foundation for agentic layer, the AI layer, and we want to make sure that we have some good monitoring capabilities, and we don't want to inadvertently upload any confidential information. So those are all the things that everybody has to do, right?
So one last question is more for the startups, right? The 3 startups that we discussed, Featurely is Bay Area based, Atomicwork is Bay Area based, Trupeer is India based. So the solutions that you are seeing, how many first is your pipeline that you see as a CIO? How many are US based versus how many are?
I say majority of them, the companies, even though they're based in US, 80% of their employee base is in US.
But let's say we can classify where is the founder base, the CEO base. Right?
I see a mix of both, right? In some cases, I see the founders moving from India or other regions to US to be closer to the customer, closer to the Bay Area ecosystem. And sometimes I see the founders are in other regions, but they do come very often. Right? They do come very often. If the founder is more like technical and CTO driven, there I see them based outside. But if the founder is more product management, the vision behind the company, and customer engagement, they're based in the Bay Area. So I see a mix of both. And I think it's a division of labor between the founder and the co-founders. And they have I see a very good healthy balance, regardless where they're located. If nobody is here, then I would be cautious.
But do you have any solutions that you are using, both AI and non-AI on the SaaS side and AI side, where none of the founders are here and maybe in India?
I think for established customers, I don't closely look into that because they have a proper ecosystem. But for startups, we definitely look into that.
Somebody should be here.
So it's not that somebody who's easy to access to, and because I'm not looking I'm looking from a customer's perspective in a different angle.
Sure.
Because today in this modern world, you can reach out to anybody, anytime, right? Yeah. But where is a founder spending the time to innovate on the product and innovate on the vision? Are they closer to the innovation circle, which is Bay as an example, or they're sitting somewhere else in the world that are completely cut off from what is going on, right? I look at it from that perspective.
So this is very important, because you are saying CIOs inherently or subconsciously or consciously, this evaluation is also going on within the teams.
It's not like we put it on paper. It's just an observance, right? Okay, if this founder or one of the co-founders is spending a lot of time where the action is happening, okay, they're keeping in pace. So our assumption is they'll go back to the team and share, hey, this is something I've heard about it, right? If the founders if the founder or the co-founder is not even close to the innovation circle, innovation area, I feel like they may be cut out from what is going on.
And what about, we discussed, let's say this was Bay Area versus Bangalore. But what about Bay Area versus Austin, Bay Area versus Washington, D.C.? The founders are based in Washington, D.C., but
as long as there are two things, right? As long as they're accessible, virtual or in person, that is fine. But if the founder is, let's say if they're in Bay Area, if they're not in East, if they're in East Coast or if they're in Midwest, how often do they come here? right? There may be other reasons why they may not be living in Bay Area due to family constraints and other things, right? And as long as they have a periodic exposure and visit, it's fine. And we get to know them, right? Because if we see them in LinkedIn, we see them coming to our offices. I'm here. Hey, do you want to meet? So we get kind of an idea. Okay, this person is very serious about it. And if I see some people only coming once in 6 months or 12 months, okay, that may be a yellow flag. What's going on, right? So,
Got it. Any other important considerations that you have, which are like the locations? Is it first time versus second time founders?
no, doesn't. I didn't. I'm not, because I'm new to the Bay Area as well. I've been here only for 2+ years now, and I feel there is a big difference because I used to be in Chicago for 20+ years. I see that there's a lot more innovation, energy. Whether you meet a friend or you go to an event, you get to learn more. In any given time, I'd assume that will be the same case for founders, right? There may be some events and forums and all those other things. You'll come across some new people, right? You get to learn more, right? So,
and what about vertical solutions that are built? Let's say some solutions built for fintech space, payment space, right? Do CIOs also have are CIOs looking at more horizontal solutions?
yeah, both. You have to do both. You have to look at horizontal, like from a workplace experience or shared services functions. But vertical, it's based upon what the need is at a company level. Okay, do I need to focus more on go-to-marketing or post-sales or other things, right? So it depends. We have to optimally balance between these two. So,
got it. Thank you so much, Karthik. It's been a very insightful conversation. New for me also, like how extreme details of the workings of an organization, especially the buying process, and I believe very useful for the founders also, right? To know about how the other party thinks, right? It's always
yeah.
you can't blame that. Hey, they don't understand us.
Yeah. No, thank you for the discussion. Happy to share.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.